Les here of Les Archery Adventures. Serious testing, successful hunting. Today I'm going to be testing some Truglo broadheads. This is their two-blade mechanical. And thank you to a friend of mine, Jason Bridges, who donated these heads. I'm able to put them to the test and see how they perform. I've been wanting to test these for quite a while. So for all these tests, I'm using my Bowtech SR6, set at 72 pounds. And I'm using Bishop FOC King Arrows for most of the testing, but then also the Bishop FAD Eliminators for the really hard impact shots. So let's zoom on in here, check out the heads, and then see how they perform. Here's the head close up, and it's what's known as just a classic gator design in this mechanical. When pressure is put on the ends of these blades, it forces them back into the open position. So in the closed position, the cutting diameter is 7/8 of an inch. In the fully open position, it's 2 3/16 cutting diameter. So a nice wide cut right there. The ferrule is machined out of a single piece of grade 5 titanium, and that goes right up through the tip. The blades are 0.031 inches thick. Now, what I like about a head like this is its simplicity, okay? Simplicity of opening and so forth. What I really don't like about the design is that the blades don't lock. And so I've seen in a lot of these heads that I've tested, and I'm eager to see what happens here, that upon impact, a lot of times the blades will open and then they kind of reach a homeostasis that they just kind of close, or they almost all the way close and go through a softer medium, kind of like that. So oftentimes you don't get even close to the full cut, as opposed to a couple other heads, there's not that many, where the blades lock open, like the Sever, the Afflictor, the blades lock open, and so you're going to get that full cut once they lock. Here you're not guaranteed that as it passes through a medium, but I'll see what happens with these heads. Let's see how this Truglo mechanical titanium two-blade performs. $150. It penetrated 7 inches, but I want to show a bit more detail about how the blades deployed. Here's the opening hole of the head on the rubber foam mat. You see it opened to 1 3/4 inches roughly. However, by the back of that initial medium, as it hit the gel, you can see the wound channel. The blades started to shrink down and went almost all the way into their closed position. And that's where they came to rest. Now, they didn't just get back to that position after they stopped, but you can see the wound channel was like that the entire way through the gel. $275. It penetrated through 53 layers, but I do want to point out that the blades never opened in the cardboard. They started here with a cutting diameter of about 1 inch, and that's what they stayed at the entire way through each of the layers of cardboard until the very end. I want to test the blade deployment of these heads, so I've got a cardboard box with a thick layer of leather stretched tightly over it, and I want to see how well the blades open on this lifelike medium. So you could see it a bit better on the shot itself, but one of the blades opened fully and the other did not. And the total cutting diameter of that opening initial cut was just under 1.5 inches. And then if we look at the back of the box, you can see that they stayed in that position, that one was fully opened and the other was about halfway opened. So take that for what it's worth. Perhaps with an animal, that's never going to be an issue. But with the opening of the blades and the blades remaining open through the entire medium, this broadhead has had one of the greatest challenges that I can remember. Here's the Truglo after 5 shots through the MDF, and you see that it held up very well. There's very little signs of wear on it. Actually, really no signs of wear except cosmetic type wear. Now, at the same time, what happens is even when I put the blades in the open position, as soon as they hit, they just go back to this position. And so every shot, whether I shot them closed or I shot them open, the blades have very little pressure on them because they just don't open much beyond that, at least not in the MDF. So they didn't get much damage, but then they didn't get much work either. Ferrule stayed in great shape. Here's the head after impacting the concrete, and overall you can see it held together well. Nothing broke. It stayed intact. The only real damage is the tip. The tip got pretty bent there, and so that's not reusable, and as a result you get a little bit of a wobble to it. The blades were not affected because they didn't really penetrate into the concrete at all. So what'd you think of the Truglo Titanium 2-blade mechanical? You know, it certainly has its strengths. It's such a simple overall design, and they're not very expensive. I know they can get the job done. There's some things I really like about it. I like that it's rear deploying. Again, I like the simplicity of the design. But there's just some things about this design personally that I don't really care for, in that the blades don't lock open and they just have that tendency to close as they go through a medium like that. So maybe not my favorite head, but I could see why some other people may really like it. So you check out the score sheets that I provided here and see how this head performed in the areas that matter to you the most.